What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the DC Collectibles DC Essentials Sinestro, leader of the Sinestro Corps. And so here we have Sinestro posed and out of the packaging. Now unfortunately, Sinestro here does not come with any accessories, which is really sad. I would have liked to see some alternate hands or maybe his lantern. So we don't get anything. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a closer look at Sinestro, and DC Collectibles has done a fantastic job with his head sculpt. This is a really good Sinestro head. Too bad they don't have too many 7-inch Sinestros that we can attach his head to, because this is a really good head, and I really do appreciate the detail that goes into it. From the wrinkles on his face, it looks really natural. His teeth are painted really nice. Really love the way his eyes look. That's such a good little detail. And I even like the fact that they gave him pointed ears. That's something that Sinestro should always have, is those pointed ears. And of course his little haircut that is really reminiscent of a Germany dictator, which I'm not going to mention here because, you know, demonetization and all. But really like the hair. I don't know, there's something about how clean and crisp that looks. It looks really good. I do like that. His mustache is also painted really well as his eyebrows. So all the black on his head is painted perfectly. There's no bleeding, no splotches, no nothing. It looks really clean. So good job on DC Collectibles there. Moving on to his costume. This is where I probably have the most issues with. The fact that he uses the same body as all the other characters. I really wish DC Collectibles would make different sculpts, because Sinestro is supposed to be a thinner character now. I don't have any issues with the length of his limbs. It's just he's using the same torso as Batman and Superman, and Sinestro should never use the same torso as Batman and Superman. I do like the fact that they did make an effort to paint his collar, which they actually did a really good job painting that. Now, one reason that matches is because his head and neck are painted the same color. He's actually just cast in white plastic, and the pink is just painted, so it all matches, so that's really good. Really loving the Sinestro Corps emblem right here. It's clean, it's painted crisp, the black line around it is perfect. There's, again, no bleeding, no nothing, so really have to give them credit there. His costume is a little bit on the plain side. Now, he does have the angles that the Sinestro Corps costume is supposed to have, but on the back this should actually drop down lower, and it's a little fuzzy in the back. It's not as crisp as it should be. Even right here on what's supposed to be his belt, that should actually be a separate piece too. So yeah, it's a little fuzzy on some of the parts, but the main torso is really nice and crisp. It's a little bit fuzzy here on his shoulder as well, and that should be really clean, but it's really fuzzy. I don't know why this chest emblem is nice and crisp, but then you get to his armband emblem and it's sloppy, it's fuzzy. You can see it's not clean. So they just made a lot of mistakes with that. And then his armbands right here, they're not supposed to be painted like that. They're actually supposed to be like armbands. And unfortunately, we don't get that. We just get painted gauntlets, which it's kind of lazy, it's terrible, and I really would have liked to see unique gauntlets. Batman gets his own gauntlets, why can't Sinestro? He's a big enough villain in my opinion. Looking at his ring, this is actually one piece that I do like. They actually sculpted the Sinestro emblem on that little ring. So good job on DC Collectibles there. That's a really good piece. Then we don't have anything else until we get to the boot. Now, I would have liked to see his boot as a separate piece. But again, we didn't get that. We just get paint right here on his calves. And then we get his gold boots. I do like the shade of gold that they're using. It's like an orange yellow, like a metallic orange yellow. So do like that. Boots are fine, and Sinestro here is looking really good. Really do like the detail on most of this figure, although there's some areas like his belt that should be gray, not yellow. But that's neither here nor there, so detail-wise, it's hit and miss in some areas, but for the most part, it's good. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we do have Sinestro posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Sinestro posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Sinestro posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. Here we have Sinestro posed next to a DC Universe Classic Sinestro and a NECA 2-pack Sinestro Core Predator. And finally, here we have Sinestro posed next to the Essentials Hal Jordan. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. He does sport the standard Essentials articulation. He does have a ball joint in the head, which does let him look up really well. Unfortunately, it doesn't look down all too much on its own. We do get some slight head tilt as well as left and right rotation. He does have a hinge in the neck, which does let him look up even more. And then with that hinge, he can look down, so really good articulation there. Does have a ball joint in the arm, which goes out to about there. Does a full 360, no issues. We do have rotation up here in the bicep. He has a double bend in the elbow, giving us much better than 90 degrees. I do like that. We have a swivel and a hinge at the wrist, so that works no problem. We do have an ab crunch, which goes back to about that far. Does crunch forward to about that far, so good range there. We do have rotation at the waist, no issue. Legs do kick forward to about there, kick back to about there, go out to the side, all the way horizontal, no problem there. We do have thigh swivel up high. We have a double bend in the knee, which works really good. You can see he almost kicks his own ass. He does rotate at the boot, no problem. Does have a hinge in the ankle going back and forward. We do have rotation at that ball joint, and then we have rotation down here giving us rocker ankle. So if you really wanted to, you could rotate it to give him pretty good rocker ankles. So overall, really like the way Sinestro came out, and he actually does stand really well on his own, and really do like that they rework the ankles to get these figures to stand. So with that out of the way, guys, let's get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have Sinestro posed for my final thoughts, and overall I really do like the way Sinestro came out. I do have an issue with the fact that they don't include accessories with the Essentials line, and it's kind of sad that we don't get power batteries for any of the Lantern characters. It's kind of their entire theme. They need lanterns to charge their rings, so I don't see why DC Collectibles did not include batteries for Sinestro or Hal Jordan. I can understand the constructs are out of their reach, but batteries, come on, they have sculpts for the battery, so I don't see why they didn't include them. Other than that, I still think Sinestro here is a really good figure. If you can get past the fact he doesn't come with any accessories, and he's pretty much the same size as Batman and Superman, this is a really good figure. I do have to point out that he's not 100% accurate to the comics with the belt and the gauntlets not actually matching. But if you can look past that, he's a really decent figure in his own right. If you are looking for Sinestro or even Hal Jordan, they are starting to hit stores at the time I'm making this video, so check your local comic book stores, GameStops, or online retail such as Big Bad Toy Store. I was fortunate enough to pick up my Sinestro from my local comic book store, so a huge shout out to Asylum Comics for getting this out to me so I could review it for you guys. Sinestro will run you anywhere from $22 all the way up to $28 depending on where you pick them up, so do be expecting to pay somewhere in the $25 range at most places. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other DC Essentials videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, don't forget to check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.